Hey everyone, it's Mike with It's Pittsfield Tonight. I'm going to jump right into it, and we're going to talk about a couple topics here. I want to start with the new policy for snow removal for our sidewalks for residents. So, City Hall, the mayor's office, with approval from the council, has implemented a new snow removal policy for our sidewalks, which is now you get one warning per season, per year, and then there'll be fines for not removing the snow. And it used to be one warning per snowstorm. The reason why I'm against this, and many people were against this, is due to the situation with the economy, with inflation, with the cost of groceries, the cost of home heating and fuel, the cost of gas for your car, the cost of everything being at unbelievable amounts. They're implementing this in the middle of that, and we have a large senior citizen population in Pittsfield. Some seniors that are disabled, some are just elderly people trying to remain in their homes that now won't have the funds to pay somebody to clear those sidewalks. And now they're facing immediate fines. So the way it'll work is you'll get one warning, then you'll be fined $25. Then the next fine is a $50 fine, and then after that, it's $100 a day that the snow is there. And they're saying they're going to enforce it, and that's it. You get one warning per season. So I think that's crazy. I think it's unfair to our seniors who are already struggling as much as they are, but that's where we're at with that. So be prepared for that, and hopefully you have family members or grandchildren or some people. You can contact me through the page. I will do everything I can. I know last year I was going to try to put something together, and I was putting a team of people together to do that. And unfortunately, I had a personal tragedy with my father, and it kind of put all that on hold during the winter. So next thing I want to get into is taxes. So as many of you saw in the last post, and I'm sure you've seen it in our local publications and everywhere else, that for property owners in Pittsfield, you're about to see a large increase in your tax bill, along with everything else that's went up. And even though the city has lowered the residential tax rate and the commercial tax rate, so the residential tax rate has been lowered to $18.56 per thousand, and the commercial tax rate to $39.90 per thousand. Yes, just wanted to make sure I was right on that. So, oh no, I'm sorry. That's what they were at. So they've been lowered. The residential rate for fiscal 2023 has been lowered to $18.32 per thousand, and the commercial tax rate to $39.21 per thousand. That's what they were the previous fiscal year. So they did lower them, but as many of you know, during this period of inflation, which is at a 40-plus year high, one of the biggest things affected were home values. We have a shortage nationally of housing, and home values in 2 years have risen over 33%. Now, some of our counselors were for and asking the mayor to take more money from free cash, the free cash account, and I hate that they call it free cash. It's overtaxed money. But to offset this even more under these circumstances. She was against that. She's always been against doing that every time these kind of things were proposed. She was against it during the middle of the pandemic, and then next thing you know, she herself even got a raise in the middle of that, and created all these new admin positions in the city. But anyway, you don't ever want to mess with a politician's paycheck. I'll tell you that right now. They get very upset. So do their spouses. But they wanted her to take, I think Charles Cronick, the Ward 2 counselor, was asking for $3 million. She said no, absolutely not. And then you heard from some of the counselors the spiel they give about you're building equity in your home. You're not building equity. Real equity in a property does happen over longevity. It's not a 33% increase in 2 years due to inflation. That's not real equity. It happens if you do an addition to your house, home improvements, things like that that increase the value of the home. Maybe your neighborhood got a new school or something like that happened, road improvements. That's not what we're looking at here. We're looking at, due to the circumstances of inflation, home values have jumped 33%. Many of our homeowners are senior citizens on a fixed income. So if you're a senior citizen in your home, all you're getting out of this is a larger tax bill. Your so-called equity, try borrowing money right now from the banks with the feds doing their rate hikes, and I'm going to touch on that. But try taking out a home improvement loan or something like that right now for a senior on a fixed income. It's not going to happen. The only equity you're building in your home right now for our seniors is if you die. If you die, your heirs will do pretty well selling your property right now. But the housing market, due to the Fed's continual raising of interest rates, is more than cooling down. It's at a 20 to 25 year slowdown period. You're going to see home values starting to drop, which has already started. Even though there's a supply shortage, it's getting harder and harder for anybody to qualify for like an FHA, for people to get into their first time home buyer loan. The rental market is being squeezed, so you're seeing rents going up and up, which a lot of cities are saying that's a huge contributor to homelessness. But there's no real equity you're building. You're just paying more in taxes. And with the costs of everything else at the highs they are, many things at all-time highs, and seniors on pensions and fixed incomes, their money isn't going up. They have to find a way to compensate this. So again, the only equity you're building is if you die. I mean, it's unbelievable. If you're going to sell your house and, I don't know, move into Springside Park where you can build stuff there now too, I guess, for free and not pay taxes. You can put structures in there. But unbelievable that this is happening, and that the mayor was adamant on no on that. No more free cash. It is what it is. So the average homeowner, I think, is going to see an increase of around $420, $430 a year on their taxes, which is huge right now. And I know, again, they preach it with it's just the cost of a cup of coffee a day, or however they market and justify raising taxes again. And with everything else, water and sewer, everything going up and up, this is going to put a hurting on many of our seniors, some of the same seniors that are probably going to get fined for having snow on the sidewalk. Doesn't seem right to me, but it is what it is. Another thing I want to touch on is Bird e-scooters. So I noticed that our Commissioner of Public Services, who the bike lanes and the scooter rentals and all that it's his baby. This is his dream, his vision. And that's how the mayor announced him at the press conference for the Bird e-scooters that I attended, and back when they first, pushed the release of it. So Bird as a company, and this is all verifiable. Anybody can go online and research this. I follow the market pretty regularly every day, and Bird as a company is in big trouble. On Veterans Day, which was unusual for anybody to put this out on Veterans Day, it was a bad day for them to do it, and they did it probably for the reason that they had bad news, and that is their past 2 years, they miscounted funding and revenue that they did not have. And their shares have dropped to 24 cents. They're down to their final couple weeks for removal from the New York Stock Exchange, and they're looking at the option of bankruptcy or ending the company entirely. There's a couple different options. That's not 100% that will happen. They have a short window here to try to raise more money. They've already vacated most of the European market, Middle East, Africa, and a lot of U.S. cities. Their business model for their rideshare program has not been working. Their financials show for every $2 spent, they earn $1. So they're taking a $1 loss on every ride. Their fleet management program, which is basically what we have a fleet manager here, and that's their clever way, I guess, of saying franchising it. That isn't working out for them because the fleet manager is responsible for the repairs, is responsible really for ensuring that they're not ridden on the sidewalk. They're not used by kids for going over jumps and doing crazy stuff. I mean, somebody has to be responsible for that. And the city did partner with our local fleet manager, and they do make money off of the rides. This is a city-involved program. But the facts are there's a very good likelihood that Bird will no longer be in business shortly, or they're going to have to raise a ton of funding. There's a possibility if they do that, that they split the stock, they eliminate their rideshare program, which would get them out of Pittsfield and places like this, no more rideshare, and they focus on the retail aspect of it and selling their brand of e-bikes and e-scooters in stores, which you can buy Bird scooters and bicycles now. I have an e-bike, not a Bird. I have a different brand. I love my e-bike, but the rideshare program is a disaster in most communities. There's some places where it has worked, college campuses, places like that, but communities like ours, it's been a disaster. Streets littered with these things, a lot of accidents. There's a lot of safety concerns with children riding these. You're seeing a lot of head injuries, broken bones. That's reality. And safety should be a priority. You're going 15 miles an hour standing up without a helmet. And again, I saw kids on North Street just the other day. One of them looked about 10 years old, and I took pictures of it. So with no helmet, no nothing. And you wonder, how are they doing this? How are they activating the ride? So it's not that hard. I think you can use a preloaded card to do it. So the reality is, regardless of what Ricardo Morales said, our Commissioner of Public Services, there's a very good chance Bird will not be in existence soon unless a big, who knows, maybe Elon Musk comes in and saves the day. Maybe Amazon does, Jeff Bezos, who knows. But it doesn't look good for them. Their shares closed out yesterday at 24 cents, and they're about to be removed from the New York Stock Exchange, and they are already looking at bankruptcy. They've already said we do not have the revenue to sustain ourselves through next year. So they've delayed their November financials. That's coming out soon, and we'll find out very shortly what's happening with that. But I would be willing to bet that's the end of the company. But that's not a guarantee, but it looks like it's leaning more that way than not. So I've got some videos coming up. The business tour is continuing. I'm really excited. I'm wrapping up one I did with Pittsfield Rye Bakery that I'll have out Monday. I've got my fundraiser coming up, and I'll be tapering a little bit on the amount of these videos, getting the new studio and the new downtown location set up. And one of our local politicians' spouses gave me a great idea for a guest. So one of my first guests on one of the first morning shows will be John Kroll. Many of you know John, former city councilor, and I'm going to have the opportunity to ask John, is he or is he not running for mayor, and maybe we'll get an answer. But and talk to him about a lot of other stuff, including his podcast. So a big thank you to the individual who gave me the idea for having John on. I really do appreciate it. So that is it for now. Lot of good stuff coming up. It's Pittsfield Tonight is about to get much bigger and a lot more content, a lot more stuff going on than just these shows. So I'm super excited about all that. And I'll keep everyone informed on all of it. So that is it for now. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll catch y'all in the next few days.